own borders, and it has invaded every single country that it is next to. Israel is believed to have launched an assassination program in at least 18 different states in the world, from Italy to France to Cyprus to Greece to Norway, Germany, the UAE, Egypt, Jordan, Uruguay, Lebanon, Brazil, Tunisia, Belgium, Malta, Malaysia, Syria, and Iran. What state behaves like that and still gets $10.4 million from the US government on a daily basis? What state behaves like that and still gets $430,000 per hour from the US government, $7,000 per minute, $120 per second? That is what the US government gives to Israeli crimes that we have just described. How are we in a situation where in US Congress you have seen $33 million spent on funding by Israel lobbyists just in the last year to Congress people, and the US government decides to give an extra $1 billion to the state, an extra $1 billion to the state of Israel to replenish the Iron Dome situation? You are not on the side of the criminals. The criminals are behind that fence, are in government, and are in those institutions that back up this status quo. We stand here out of an eternal struggle for justice. The Palestinian struggle against colonialism from the late 1800s to today is the longest struggle in human history against colonialism. We assert clearly, not only in our communities, but including in our schools and our educational institutions. Our educational institutions claim to oppose racism. Zionism is racism. The core hypocrisy of Zionism is that you can somehow take what was a group of people, ethnically cleanse almost 1 million of those people, 750,000 people from Palestine, deny them the right to return, and somehow call yourself anti-racist. Somehow the British state thinks that it can, on one hand, exchange intelligence with the Israeli state. It can literally, when the Great March of Return was happening and Palestinians were trying to practice their right under UN Resolution 194, the British government sold components for sniper rifles to the Israeli army. Those components were used to target people in the knees. Today in Gaza, they refer to it as a city of amputees, because you have people that have had the bottoms from their knees downwards removed because of British components. When you look at the F-16s that Israel used to bomb bookshops, media towers in Gaza, in the recent period in May, you find in those F-16s BAE Systems components. You find in the F-35 BAE Systems components. This is one of the most subsidized organizations in British history. We do not need this. Where else have Elbit sold weapons to? They've also sold materials to the maritime forces to surveil people trying to come in.